Emily lost her father at a young age and grew up in poverty. She married the rich Ryan, but there she only got neglect and humiliation. One day, Emily got divorced and went on a journey alone. When everyone thought her life was over, Emily opened a small food shop on her own and became surprisingly successful. A few years later, Ryan, having lost everything, comes to Emily for help. If you want to know what happens next, don't drag the whole story and watch it till the end. And after watching this story to the end, if you want more parts, then I will make them for you. If you want to get such interesting stories, then definitely subscribe to the channel and stay by our side and do like and share. So let's start our main story. When Emily first saw the city of Chicago, she was only 14. The pain of losing her father still weighed heavily on her heart. Forced to leave their small countryside shack, Emily, her mother Linda, and her two younger siblings moved to the city, hoping for a better life. Linda, strong, quiet, and determined, held the family together with one hand, raising 3 children with the other. Emily was the eldest. She loved studying, dreamed of school, but fate had something else in store for her. In the city, they moved into a tiny, rundown apartment, and life lost its colors. Emily's daily routine started at dawn, helping her mother with chores, sending her siblings off to school, cleaning, cooking. Her days disappeared in the grind of survival. School was a luxury she could not afford. Every afternoon, she would peek out the window, watching the neighborhood children, backpacks swinging, laughing, heading to school in crisp uniforms. Each time, Emily's heart would ache. One evening, her mother said quietly, "Sweetheart, in this world, nobody goes to school for someone else. If we want to survive, you have to help starting now." Emily never cried. She knew tears would change nothing. Years passed. When she was about 16, Emily started cleaning houses with her mother. One day, at the home of the wealthy Petersons, everything changed. Mrs. Peterson was elegant, powerful, a well-known businesswoman. Her son, Ryan, had just returned from college abroad. He was handsome, educated, stylish, always surrounded by expensive things and fast cars, and always a little arrogant. When Mrs. Peterson saw how diligent and modest Emily was, her heart softened. Emily was plain, unassuming, but hardworking and gentle. Ryan needs a girl like this, she thought. Someone who won't make trouble, who will keep his home, who won't question his wild life. One day, Mrs. Peterson approached Linda with a proposal. Linda was shocked, even afraid. But who would refuse a marriage proposal from such a wealthy family? "If you let your daughter marry my son, her future will be secure," Mrs. Peterson assured. Emily had no voice, no real choice in her own life. On her wedding day, she wept quietly, not knowing whether happiness or more sorrow awaited her. Ryan was quiet at the wedding. His friends whispered and joked. "You're marrying her, man? Seriously? Come on, Ryan. A guy like you should have married a model." Emily's cheeks burned with shame, but she said nothing. After moving to her new home, Emily dared to dream. Maybe there would be love or at least respect. But in Ryan's eyes, she was nothing. From the day after the wedding, he avoided her, spending all his time with his friends. He'd bring beautiful women, friends from the city, into their home, laughing and partying as if Emily didn't exist. One evening, Emily was in the kitchen when the house burst into laughter. She peeked out. Ryan was in the living room with a group of friends, including 3 or 4 glamorous women, all in jeans and tops. Ryan noticed Emily and said, almost mockingly, "That's my wife, Emily. She's from the country, doesn't really know much." Everyone laughed. One friend said, "Ryan, man, your fashion sense is crazy. How did you end up with her?" Emily's face went red, and she struggled to hold back tears. She knew there was no place for her in this home. Day after day, night after night, Emily endured. Mrs. Peterson tried for a while to comfort her, but Ryan was unyielding. "I can't do this marriage, Mom," he'd say. Eventually, even Mrs. Peterson gave up. Ryan spent more and more time out, coming home late, sometimes not coming home at all. One day, Ryan told her outright, "There's nothing between us, Emily. You can stay here and manage the house, but I'm not responsible for you." I'll live my own life. Emily was trapped. Where would a girl from a poor family go? She had no parents, no place to call her own, just this house. So she endured in silence. Then came the darkest chapter of Emily's life. Ryan often brought his friends home, drinking, partying, even dancing late into the night. One night, he didn't come home at all. Worried, Emily couldn't sleep. The next morning, a knock came at the door. She opened it to find a police car, and Ryan standing there, drunk, humiliated. Everyone looked at Emily with scorn. In the eyes of society, she was just a poor, plain girl with no respect. A few days later, Ryan said bluntly, "You're holding me back. I can't do this anymore. I want a divorce." Emily said nothing. Her heart was breaking, but she didn't cry. As she signed the divorce papers, she wondered what was left for her. Just a name? A failed marriage. Society now saw her as a defeated woman. Carrying the weight of all that humiliation, loneliness, and rejection, she left the house on a search for a new life, for her own identity. That night, Emily sat at the bus station, holding her divorce papers, surrounded only by the endless traffic and strangers. Her heart felt empty, hopeless. Memories of her mother's face, her siblings, where were they now? Where was that little house in the countryside? Emily tried to cry, but even her tears were gone. Late at night, an elderly woman sat beside her, watching quietly before speaking. "Child, why are you crying? Do you have nowhere to go?" Emily shook her head. The woman thought for a moment. "Come with me. I have a little room. It's safe. In the morning, we'll see what to do." Her name was Agnes. She too had survived a lifetime of struggle. Her one-room apartment was cramped but warm. Emily spent the night there. In the morning, over a simple breakfast, Agnes asked, "Can you do anything?" "Cook, sew?" Emily replied shyly. "I'm good at cooking, and I know a bit of sewing." Agnes smiled. "Then don't just sit around, child. The world won't hand you anything, you have to take it." Emily made up her mind. This time, she wouldn't blame anyone else. She would make something for herself. She had a little money saved from her marriage. With Agnes's help, Emily bought a used food cart and started a tiny tea and snack stand on the street corner. The first day was terrifying. People stared and whispered, "That's Ryan's ex-wife. Now she's selling snacks on the street." Emily ignored them. She lost herself in work, serving tea, sandwiches, eggs in the morning, rice and veggies for lunch. She kept her prices low. She knew her customers were all struggling too. The first few days were hard. Hardly any sales, almost no profit. Every evening she returned home and sometimes cried, thinking, "Is it only humiliation and struggle that's meant for me?" But she did not stop. One morning, a kind old man named Bill came by for tea. "What's your name, dear?" "Emily," she said. "I see you work hard. Bad times will pass. Good times will come. Don't give up." After a while, people in the neighborhood began to like Emily's food. One day, some office workers ordered lunch. "Miss Emily's cooking is amazing." For the first time, Emily felt a flicker of happiness. Alone in her small room at night, she let herself smile. "I can do this," she thought. Day by day, month by month, her little shop grew. Emily hired 2 helpers. From a cart, she moved into a small rented shop. Crowds began to line up for her food. Agnes and Bill cheered her on. One customer said, "Miss, if your business gets bigger, will you give me a job?" Emily laughed. Yes, God willing. She kept learning, watching YouTube, trying new recipes. People loved her food. But at night, when the shop closed and she walked home alone, her heart would ache. Sometimes she'd remember Ryan's insults, her mother's tears, the cruel words from society. Still, she told herself, never look back. She wanted to build a new life, her own future. Emily's name slowly spread. Emily's Diner, best food, best service. A small newspaper published her story. A fighter's tale, from street stand to dream. She told herself, This is just the beginning. There's a long road ahead. Through hard work, courage, and self-belief, Emily began to change the way people saw her. She still had struggles and loneliness, but the light inside her grew stronger every day. Emily's days became a blur of hard work and quiet determination. Her little snack shop, once looked down upon by many, began to draw regular customers. Early in the mornings, she'd rise before dawn, brewing fresh coffee and baking muffins. She'd arrange everything with care, each sandwich wrapped just right, each smile sincere. People noticed. A nurse from the nearby clinic would stop by for breakfast before her shift, telling Emily, "I swear, your blueberry muffins are better than any cafe downtown." A group of construction workers would gather around her cart at lunch, cracking jokes and calling her the Harda of the block. Emily, once invisible, became a quiet pillar of the neighborhood. Word spread. The little food cart turned into a real corner cafe, Emily's Eats. With Agnes's encouragement and a small business grant, Emily signed her first lease. She painted the walls soft yellow, put fresh flowers on every table, and hung up a sign that simply said, "Everyone welcome." She hired 2 women who reminded her of herself, single mothers, overlooked and underestimated. She trained them, supported them, paid them fairly. "We're not just serving food," Emily would tell her team. "We're building something together." The cafe grew. Customers became friends. Local newspapers started to write about Emily's story, the young woman who had been discarded, who now served hope with every cup of coffee. People from across the city came just to try her famous pies and to meet the woman who smiled through storms. One afternoon, a man in a suit approached. "Are you Emily Carter?" She nodded. "I represent a chain of boutique hotels. We'd like you to cater an event for us. Think you can handle 100 people?" Emily's heart raced. She worked day and night, testing recipes, teaching her small staff, making sure every detail was perfect. The event was a hit. Orders poured in. The cafe expanded. Emily rented a bigger space. She opened a second shop, then a bakery. 5 years after that first night at the bus station, Emily Carter was no longer a victim of circumstance. She was a leader, a mentor, and an inspiration. Her name was known citywide. Children wanted to be like her. Women in shelters found hope in her story. Yet every night, when the world quieted, Emily would stand by her window, looking at the city lights. She still remembered the pain. But she also felt pride. She'd built everything from ashes. She knew, deep in her bones, no one could take this away from her. The return of the past. On a chilly evening, after a long day at her office, Emily sipped her tea and listened to the city's hum from her apartment window. The phone rang. "Ms. Carter? There are 2 people here to see the apartment you have for rent. Should I send them up?" Emily hesitated for a moment, then agreed. A soft knock. She opened the door and felt the world tilt. Standing there, awkward and uncertain, were Ryan and his new wife, Jessica. Ryan looked nothing like the man she remembered. His suit was worn, his hair thinning, eyes tired. Jessica, once stunning and full of life, seemed drained and anxious, her beauty faded by hardship. For a moment, none of them spoke. Ryan stared, his face pale. Emily? You own this place?" Emily nodded, composed and calm, dressed smartly, confidence radiating from her. "Yes, I own the building." Jessica's eyes widened. Ryan seemed to shrink, unable to believe the transformation in the woman he once cast aside. Ryan stammered. We're looking to rent. I lost my job. We lost the house. It's just, things have been tough." Emily felt 1,000 memories rush through her, humiliation, sorrow, years of being invisible. But she steadied herself, her voice firm. "To rent here, you need paperwork, references, proof of income." "What do you both do?" Ryan's face fell. I don't have a job. My business failed. I've lost everything." Jessica looked away, shame and frustration etched across her face. Emily simply nodded. "I'm sorry for your situation, but rules are rules." Please fill out the application. The days passed. Ryan and Jessica moved in, their pride swallowed by necessity. Emily remained distant, never cruel, but never soft. One morning, Jessica packed her bags and left. She didn't say goodbye. Ryan, abandoned, grew even smaller, a shadow of the proud man he'd once been. Closure. One evening, as Emily returned home, she found Ryan waiting outside her door. He looked broken, eyes rimmed red. "Emily," he began, voice shaking. I know I made mistakes. I hurt you. I humiliated you. Now I have nothing. No love, no dignity, no home. Can you forgive me? Could you ever? Take me back." Emily was silent for a long moment. Images flashed in her mind, nights of sorrow, days of struggle, years of building herself back. Finally, she said softly but firmly, "Ryan, when I was yours, you didn't love me. You didn't respect me. Now that I've found myself, you want a second chance. Not everyone gets one. I don't hate you, but you'll never be part of my life again. Please leave." Ryan lowered his head and walked away. Emily stood by her window, watching the city sparkle. No tears came. Her heart was full of courage and certainty. She was alone, but never lonely. She had become the author of her own story. And she knew now, true happiness wasn't about never falling. It was about getting back up, every single time.